Gemini, ear reading was the most fun. The most fun today. There's some really cool stuff going on. So, I'm going to start with your third eye chakra, which is amazing. Whew! You have a full on portal here on your hands. Love it. We are going to talk about a couple things though. Okay, you have just this full on little portal going on here with your third eye. You've probably been working on this for many years, not even just lately, but for many years. Um, it's a little bit scrambled in the signal. Like it's online, like it's in the center of your forehead. It's where it needs to be. It's very strong, and it has this really nice, supple sort of outer coating. Usually, I see that just being sort of like almost like a gel-like or net-like outer coating. But yours is very supple, malleable. It's constantly moving. I see it. You're talking, you're transmitting, you're receiving. Your third eye is working really well. In other words. Um, it's like you are so close to like being like making your own brain explode. You are so close to like being at this like almost master level with this. Like I don't want to say perfection because nothing's perfect, and energy changes every day, but it's looking really really good. So the one thing I would do for this is to get some star anise. I know these aren't things that are easy to find everywhere, but this is coming through as really important for you to do. If you want to like do this level up thing, because I have a feeling you're like really enjoying it. It's kind of like a game for you and you're like, yeah, I want to go further. Like I want to climb the highest mountain. So star anise, licorice root, not licorice, unless it's like the real kind, but licorice root. Um, I'd make a tea out of those. And then the other thing for this, and normally I'll tell people if you don't want to visualize, don't. I would really do some visualization. Um, you're going to be very easily, you probably already do some energy healing, or maybe even just for yourself. Or you might be like, I feel like this is working. It is. So visualizing as you're looking at a body, you don't have to picture your like face or whatever unless you want, but as you're looking at a body, you knowing it's you, visualize that third eye chakra right in the center of your forehead, visualizing it kind of as waves, right? Like really moving as waves of energy would. Not necessarily spinning. I know that's what happens sometimes as our chakras are working, but specifically you want to visualize it more like pulsating, and really kind of like you're seeing waves in and out, like I'm actually seeing the visualization of it. Do that as much as you feel comfortable, um, and if you can do a singing bowl, um, I wouldn't necessarily do frequency healing for this because frequency healing works, but you're at a level where it's probably not going to work as well for you. And like, honestly, live sound would work the best for you. So if you can get to like a sound bath, or if you have your own singing bowl, use it. Um, but if not, I would do this 864. So use a higher pitch singing bowl. And these are tuned, by the way, because I get the feeling you maybe know something about sound healing. I'm doing this on a 432 scale. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. 440, 432. Everybody can fight it out. For this, I felt like doing the 432 scale, and so that's what I did. So I would really focus on that. Your crown chakra is looking pretty good. So here's the other thing. Your crown chakra actually looks great too. You could, I don't want to get like on you about this. You could probably, no, never mind. I was going to say you could probably spend a little more time on your crown chakra. And then it was like, that was just me inserting myself. And then it was like, no, just don't worry about that. So the crown chakra looks good, leave it alone. It's probably ebbing and flowing a little bit these days. That's fine. Um, you don't have anything to worry about in that department. Um, the one thing I would start doing is really differentiating um, between information that you get, and this is the message that came through the strongest for you, between information that comes from your third eye chakra, which you could think of as sort of dipping into the collective consciousness, okay? Sort of like if you could put everyone's brain together and dip into the pool, again, everyone's brain, right? And dip into that pool, that's sort of like the collective consciousness, right? Well, that's what I'm calling it, this collective brain. Let me just call it that because there's too many terms, okay? So you're able to dip in and get information in there from there. And this is not in even in current time. So this is all experiences of time and space, right? If you're what you think of as like a clairvoyant or a psychic or whatever, a lot of times you'll be dipping into some of this, some of this sort of like collective brain, right? And then you can also get information from this like actual source of all things, source energy. Normally, I would say, and if you call it God or angels or whatever, fine. But normally I would say, even if it's science, no. Because if you're feeling like you're getting these downloads of information, you probably don't identify that this is only science. But if that works for you, whatever. But the point is, you want to start differentiating what's coming from the collective brain and what's coming from this kind of higher power source energy. The reason for this is, and this relates to like this kind of wobbliness and what's keeping your third eye chakra from being exactly on point is I can tell you're getting overloaded with downloads of information, and I can also tell that you're like, oh, maybe some of this I don't have to use. And you're just sort of indiscriminately sorting through, which is actually fine. It's better than what it feels like you were doing before, which was like trying to follow up on every, message you ever received in meditation. And you can't, and outside of it, it sounds like stuff is just bombarding you. So what I'm getting is that what's coming through in this collective brain, you can use this for a couple of things. If you're like a spiritual worker, if this is your job in any practice, you can use this to drive either, your procedure, your practices, maybe even how you drive your business development, how, your messaging and your content. You can use it for that. And if you can look at where everybody's at in this collective brain, it sort of helps you understand how to best approach people so that you can help the most people with, the spiritual business that you have. And then it can also help you develop, products if you're an entrepreneur, because I get that coming through too. Like you'll be able to see, okay, what is the general pulse of the nation or wherever I live, and what kind of products are they into, right? You can go through all this information. It's almost like having a massive store of market research at your fingertips. And so remember that it's good to have as much information as you can, right? If you looked at it in terms of market research, but dependent upon your product, right? Like if you're selling beverages, you don't need market research on what kind of cars people are buying necessarily. So what comes through is to like really think about, if you are developing a business, what you really narrow in a little bit more on your product, and then start going back into the collective brain, or let this collective brain, like maybe you have an idea for like 3 different products and you're like, I wonder which one would be best. I like them all, or business models or whatever. Dip into this collective brain, figure out which one makes the most sense objectively, and then pick one and then dip back into the collective brain for information related to that one thing. And then differentiate with your source energy. This is going to be things that you can use for healing. You can even allow it. I sort of dip into this when in my decision making and in my own businesses, even before I had like this kind of business. I would just kind of be like, okay, show me kind of the best path. And it was almost like my higher self would facilitate this. Like, okay, so I would start, and if you're not good at differentiating which is which, that's okay. Like, just ask, because I get the feeling you're pretty tuned in. So you can ask, where is this information coming from? Or you can say, is this information coming from source or coming from brain, or whatever terminology you want to use? Just ask, and I think you'll get a pretty clear answer. Um, your solar plexus chakra looks like you've been getting things like into shape here, which is good. There's kind of like not much to see here. It looks fine. I'm going to move on to your heart chakra. I feel like something else is going to come about your solar plexus, but I'm not getting it yet. Your heart chakra, I mean, I can tell you've definitely been working on it. In fact, you've done a really good job of like, it feels like you had a definite pattern of over giving, and you've really corrected that, which is awesome. Um, so your heart chakra looks good. It's a little bit diffuse here, so you've still got some energy, and there's a little bit of stuck energy here in the middle too. So you could still, I feel you've really been working on opening this up, but we want to work on opening up your heart chakra a little bit more. Um, yeah, I'm going to say for you also 528. That 528 is the solfeggio frequency that's for like whole body healing, but it also, if you kind of try to do the frequencies to each chakra, 528 matches up with the heart chakra, which isn't surprising. That's probably why it's for whole body, because your heart is sort of the hub of all your energy hubs. It's kind of your main hub. So I would do 538 hertz. I would definitely do it overnight, for as long as you feel like it. Um, and I feel like music, like, oh, I didn't leave room for your throat chakra, but um, music, just do like happy music. Music that like moves you, you know, like doesn't have to be sad. It can also make you really happy. But I get the sense that you still need to do a lot of opening on this heart chakra, and it's almost like you're out of practice. Like, you don't even know like where to begin, and maybe it's been hard for you to begin. But you got to start working out this heart chakra. It's kind of the main thing about what's keeping you from like first of all, this reading is amazing. Like, it is my favorite, but it's like this is another thing that's like so close to being like practically perfect. You know what I'm saying? So just listen to music. Try to, if you're finding yourself having resistance emotionally, like, what's an example? Okay, like if you don't watch, let's say like you can't watch romantic comedies because like you feel like, oh, like that's never going to happen to me. Um, I don't want to say force yourself to watch it, but like ask yourself why you're resisting. Because if you can allow yourself to feel that instead of like, it sucks to feel it because I don't have it, just allow yourself to be in the feeling. Because when you do that, it's when you really are like calibrating your own frequency so that you're kind of attracting what you want, right? So if you're pushing that away because and that's what's coming through, is you have this thought about like, I'm never going to be able to have that. And even like, I'm never going to be able to have that, but it's okay. Um, Really, you've got to think about that kind of resistance, and just, I wouldn't even say you have to stop resisting, right? Because that's ridiculous. It'll only make you resist more. But I would be aware of your resistance, give yourself a break about it, and just acknowledge it. And as you can, easily try to work through it. Um, Okay, your throat chakra is amazing also. And I didn't leave room for it because I didn't know what I was doing. I just get off track because I got your information was coming through fast and I got really excited about it. But your throat chakra looks just, man, I love it. Um, it feels like you're really just coming into your own, like really uh, just being comfortable being yourself, and really using it, using your voice. Um, and it's just natural for you. Like I can feel this sort of progression where you've been like working on using your voice, and you're doing a good job. It's really cool to see because I can tell um, that's been something you've had to work on most of your life even. Um, all right, your sacral chakra. This looks fine. You don't have any sacral chakra. I mean, I can definitely see you had some stuff going on, and I can definitely see you did some healing in it. So good job. Um, you'll have to do a little bit more work in here. It's a little bit diffuse. It's a little bit light on energy. In fact, uh, being in the sun, I can't remember what time of day. I have to look at my own Instagram. Being in the sun just before it's setting, um, would be good for you for this because it's almost like your energy is pretty refined. Um, and so it's like the sun is really like that's it, right? That's the direct source of everything. That's this. So this sun energy is going to give you sun. Did I say before sunset? Um, 20 minutes is recommended by doctors, and once again, I am not a doctor. Um, that's going to give you a nice boost. I feel like you're really going to feel that. And then your root chakra, it's kind of this, it looks fine. Um, I can tell you are, or it feels like you are not in the home space, like actual physical home that you want to be in right now. However, it feels like you've figured out that you need to feel home without that, even though you have aspirations of other homes. Um, good job. Like I can tell you've worked to create the sense of home. I would say, there's a little bit of diffuse energy here. You could you could keep working on it, but there's nothing you need to do now. The number one thing right now is to work on your. Just kidding. There is something. The 528 will help that, but hold on, there's something else going to come through for your root chakra. Oh, just nature. No, I mean, nature, yeah, you can do nature. That always helps. Um, oh, okay. I would do some cacao. Um, ethically sourced cacao. If you can't do cacao, um, the star anise will help a little bit with that. Oh, elderberry. You could do some elderberry. Cacao would be the number one recommendation, but get some elderberry. That would be good. You can make a tea. Consult a physician. Elderberry is it is an herb, but you can't overdo it. Um, but I would I would go as strong as you safely can with the elderberry. And again, I'm not a doctor. So, okay, this was an awesome reading. I think you have some cool things coming up. Oh, that's the other thing I'll say is like the other message that came through really strong for you. This solar plexus is getting stronger and stronger. And there's nothing you need to do for it except like keep moving ahead, even if it's tiny steps. Just remind yourself that actually there's no such thing as like a size of a step forward, there's only forward. So, what's going to be really important for you is on days or moments or times like days where you're just like, I'd rather, I don't know, whatever you do that zones you out, um, push through it, even if it's for like an extra hour or an extra 2 hours. Really, this idea of like comfortably pushing through, you should never feel like stressed, but push push through those moments. And the other thing is to like really triple down on your belief in yourself. I'm feeling like you're having sometimes moments of doubts. That's okay. Everybody does. I do all the time. Push through it. Remind yourself when you're having these doubts. And in fact, okay, I would do some affirmations. I'll put some in my story. I would do some affirmations about like truly just belief in yourself, because this is going to be one of the most important things for you. So, okay, thanks.